Hi everyone, my name is Memo, this is my channel Houseplanty Goodness, and essentially this is a place where I like to geek out about my big passion, which you might be able to see behind me and in front of me, which is tropical houseplants. So if you do like this video, do remember to drop a like down below. It lets me know that you like content like this so I can create more like it. And if you like and you're getting into houseplants a bit more these days, do consider subscribing down below as well, because I try to bring out videos like this every week, about 2 to 3 times a week. And yeah, let's dive into today's topic, which you might be able to see right in front of me, and I'll lift it up so you might be able to see. Today I want to give a bit of an update on one of my big leafed Anthuriums. And I'll bring it in so you might be able to see a bit closer. So that hopefully is focusing now. Is what was originally sold to me, and let's do a bit of a Kaylee head test. You might be able to see that that leaf is absolutely huge. This is the newest leaf that it has currently, and I'm just not wanting to handle it too much because it's still hardening off, but I'll just keep holding it just so you might be able to see a bit more of it. At the moment, this Anthurium has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 leaves. There is one that's on its way out. And these are the 2 original leaves. These are quite tiny that came with the plant when I first bought it. And you might also be able to see, if I bring it in a bit closer, you might be able to see right there is a bit of an inflorescence that's about to come out. And there is a spent inflorescence there. So this plant was originally sold to me as a clarinervium crossed with a forgetii. Now, these were a bit smaller. I said, maybe I'm not seeing the joint, the fused sinus that you get, that kind of rounded sinus at the very top of the leaf that you get with the forgetii, which is generally one of the traits that the forgetii will pass on when it's hybridized with other types of Anthuriums, because most of the Anthuriums will have this type of lobing at the top, so it's very kind of heart-shaped. But you can see this one definitely doesn't have a fused sinus. There's 2 very distinct lobes there and there. And also, if it was a clarinervium, I'd expect the really thick leaves that you'd get from a clarinervium. It's almost like cardboard. And this one does have thickish leaves, but not as thick. And it's got very pronounced kind of reflective or silvery veins. And again, I'll bring it in. You might be able to see, hopefully that's going to focus on the plant. So I think what I might have, because I was debating whether or not I had a crystallinum crossed with a forgetii, but at this point in time, I think this is just a crystallinum. I don't think there's any other plant in it that's hybridized with it. I'm not entirely sure. So the foliage is very reminiscent of a crystallinum. I've never seen a crystallinum in person. I've only ever seen photos, but this is very reminiscent of a crystallinum for me anyway. If you've got experience with Anthuriums and Aetherium hybrids, please do drop a comment down below if you do actually have a true hybrid between a clarinervium and a forgetii. Let me know if yours looks like this. I'm really curious, and I've not seen a lot of people that have got something similar to this as well. There is quite a few of us that bought this because this was from an eBay seller that had a few of these as a clarinervium crossed with a forgetii. So there's still a lot of people that are tagging it like this, but I think it's because we all bought it at the same time from the same seller here in the UK on eBay. So I think that whole batch might have been mislabeled essentially, but I'm not entirely sure. Now, in terms of care and how I get this plant to be as big as it is, I will always, as with most of my Anthuriums these days, I will have it in a net pot with my arrowed mix. If you want to know how I do my arrowed mix, there is a video on my channel, so do check that out. And the one thing I'm going to do soon is I've taken from this spent inflorescence that you might be able to see here, and this is eventually going to come off the plant soon. But I've taken some pollen from that and put it in a Ziploc baggie and frozen it, because I've seen a lot of people do that when they want to pollinate some of their Anthuriums, but they don't have 2 Anthuriums in bloom at the same time. So annoyingly, the only other one that I have in inflorescence at the moment that has got a bloom coming out is my Anthurium vitarifolium. I've never seen the strap leaf Anthuriums or at least that one crossed with a crystallinum, which is, as I said, what I think this is. So if you've had experience with that, or if you've seen a hybrid, or if you've even created a hybrid like that yourself, let me know how it went. I'm really curious to see if it's going to work if I try to pollinate the Aetherium. But at the end of the day, this is how we learn, essentially. So in terms of watering, with this at the moment, it's getting watered every 3 to 4 days. It gives you an idea of how thirsty this one is. And it's getting fertilized every 3rd or 4th watering. It's in my conservatory or hothouse, so it's getting quite high levels of humidity, and it's on one of the lower shelves, so it gets a bit less light. But this one doesn't mind as much light. You can give it potentially a bit more light, but I find with a lot of the Anthuriums, if you give it too much light, and even this one is getting maybe a bit too much at the moment, the leaves will start to look a bit washed out rather than being a darker color. The flip side that I find for that, the trait that you have there, is if you go for a darker foliage and giving it a bit less light, it doesn't grow as vigorously. So let's see. I've got some Anthuriums now in a slightly darker location. Let's see what happens there. I'm giving it a bit of a test, essentially. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about this plant today. Is a bit more of an update, really. If you've got any questions, comments, drop them down below. Love to have that conversation. And yeah, in the meantime, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hopefully you've enjoyed, and hopefully I shall see you here soon. Thanks. Bye.